In 1987, a movie arrived that changed action cinema forever. Predator wasn't just another jungle warfare film. It was a monster movie disguised as a military thriller, and almost everything that made it iconic happened by accident. The creature suit was a disaster. The lead actor quit after 2 days. And Arnold Schwarzenegger nearly froze to death covered in cold clay. From dolphin sounds to glow-stick blood to secret gym rivalries. Here are 20 mind-blowing secrets that prove Predator's greatest enemy wasn't the alien hunter. It was the production itself. Number 1. Get to the chopper. Let's start with the most quoted line in the entire film.
Get to the chopper!
Wasn't written to be iconic. It wasn't given special emphasis in the script. Arnold Schwarzenegger just delivered it with such raw, desperate intensity during filming that it burned itself into pop culture forever. Director John McTiernan didn't even realize what they had until test audiences started repeating it in the parking lot. Sometimes the best moments in cinema aren't planned, they're just captured. Number 2. The original Predator suit looked ridiculous. Here's where things get wild. The first version of the Predator wasn't the terrifying hunter we know today. It was worn by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yes, that Jean-Claude Van Damme. And it looked absolutely absurd. Picture a bright red, rubbery, insect-like costume that made the creature look like a shrimp monster from a bad B-movie. The suit had bug eyes, spindly limbs, and a design that screamed low-budget horror rather than apex predator from another world. When the filmmakers watched the test footage, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The creature looked comical, not threatening. The production team realized they had a serious problem. They were filming an action horror masterpiece with a monster that looked like it belonged in a creature feature parody. Test footage was so embarrassing that the production shut down completely for a total redesign. They literally stopped filming and went back to the drawing board because no one could take it seriously. The studio had to eat the cost of lost shooting days, scrap thousands of dollars in costume work, and start from scratch. It was a production nightmare that nearly killed the film before it had a chance to become legendary. Number 3. Predator's final look. So how did we get from rubber shrimp to iconic alien? Stan Winston, the legendary effects creator, was sitting on an airplane next to James Cameron. Cameron casually mentioned, "I've always wanted to see a creature with mandibles." Winston grabbed a napkin and started sketching right there at 30,000 feet. Those iconic mandibles, the defining feature of the Predator's face, were born from a random conversation in economy class. Winston kept drawing, refining the concept mid-flight, adding the dreadlock-like appendages, the biomechanical armor, the reptilian skin texture. By the time the plane landed, he had the basic blueprint for one of cinema's most unforgettable monsters. The studio loved it immediately. Within weeks, Winston's team was building the actual suit, incorporating articulated mandibles that could move independently, creating that unsettling insect meets reptile appearance that made the Predator feel truly alien. One offhand comment from the director of Aliens literally created one of cinema's most recognizable monsters. And it almost didn't happen. If Cameron had been seated somewhere else on that flight, the Predator might have looked completely different. Number 4. Van Damme quit, calling the role stupid. Why did Jean-Claude Van Damme leave the production? He thought playing the Predator was beneath him. Van Damme signed on expecting to showcase his martial arts skills, maybe do some flying kicks, definitely show his face. He'd been promised this would be his big break into Hollywood action films. Instead, he was told he'd be invisible for most of the movie, buried inside a heavy suit, with zero screen time as himself. No close-ups, no credit as Jean-Claude Van Damme. He grew increasingly frustrated on set, complaining that nobody would even know it was him. He'd trained his entire life to be seen, to demonstrate his physical prowess on camera, and now he was being asked to disappear completely. After just 2 days of filming, he called the role stupid and walked off set, telling the producers this wasn't what he signed up for. The production scrambled to find a replacement, eventually landing on Kevin Peter Hall, whose 7-foot 2-inch frame would make the Predator truly imposing in ways Van Damme's 5'9" build never could have. His loss became cinema's gain. Number 5. The jungle wasn't hot, it was freezing. Every frame of Predator screams tropical heat, sweaty soldiers, humid air, dense jungle vegetation. But here's the truth. The actors were freezing. Most exterior scenes were filmed in the early morning hours in Mexico when temperatures plummeted. Between takes, you'd see Arnold Schwarzenegger Carl Weathers, and the rest of the cast literally shivering, wrapped in blankets, waiting for the sun to come up. The movie sold us on unbearable jungle heat while the crew was fighting hypothermia. That's movie magic. Number 6. Arnold lost 25 pounds for the role. Arnold Schwarzenegger was already massive in 1987, fresh off his bodybuilding career and already an action star. But for Predator, he intentionally slimmed down, losing about 25 pounds. Why? He wanted to look like a real Special Forces soldier, not a bodybuilder playing dress-up. Arnold understood that Dutch needed to look dangerous, not decorative. Functional, not flexing. This wasn't about posing, it was about survival. And that physical transformation made Dutch Schaefer one of the most believable action heroes of the decade. Number 7. The mud scene was pure misery. The mud scene, where Dutch covers himself to hide from the Predator's thermal vision, is one of the film's most iconic moments. It's also the scene Arnold still describes as torture. That wasn't real mud, it was cold pottery clay, and Arnold spent hours submerged in it during night shoots when temperatures in the jungle dropped to their lowest. The clay had to be a specific consistency to look right on camera, which meant it was mixed with cold water and applied in thick layers across his entire body. His body temperature dropped dangerously low as the night wore on, and Arnold started shivering uncontrollably between takes. The crew tried to help by giving him alcohol to warm up, shots of whiskey to get his blood flowing, which only made things worse by dilating his blood vessels and dropping his core temperature even more. It's the exact opposite of what you should do for someone experiencing hypothermia. Arnold was basically suffering from mild hypothermia while trying to deliver one of the most intense performances of his career. The crew eventually brought in space heaters and hot towels, but there was only so much they could do. The scene required him to stay covered in cold clay for continuity. Arnold literally suffered for that scene, and it shows. The desperation is real. When you watch Dutch desperately smearing mud across his face, that's not acting. Number 8. Actors secretly competed to be the most jacked. Behind the scenes, Predator was less of a team effort and more of a covert bodybuilding competition. Every single morning at 4 a.m., Arnold, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, and the rest of the cast would hit the gym. Each one pretended it was just casual maintenance, but everyone knew what was really happening. They were all trying to outlift each other without admitting it. It was a silent arms race, literally. The result? One of the most physically intimidating casts ever assembled on screen. Number 9. Ventura tried tricking Arnold about bicep size. Speaking of competition, Jesse Ventura decided to get inside Arnold's head. The wardrobe department told Ventura his biceps measured bigger than Arnold's. Ventura bragged about it constantly on set, flexing whenever possible. But here's the twist. Arnold set the whole thing up as a joke. He'd asked Wardrobe to lie to Ventura, knowing full well his own arms were actually larger. Arnold played the long game, letting Ventura think he'd won while quietly staying on top. Even the mind games in Predator were next level. Number 10. The Predator's blood is glow stick fluid. That unforgettable neon green blood that sprays everywhere when the Predator gets hit, it's not some complex Hollywood chemical. It's literally glow stick fluid mixed with lubricant. The effects team cracked open industrial glow sticks, drained the liquid, and mixed it with KY jelly to get the right consistency. The result was one of the most distinctive visual signatures in sci-fi action history, created with materials you could buy at AE, convenience store, and a pharmacy. Number 11. The heat vision was not real infrared. The Predator's iconic thermal vision, that red and yellow heat signature that stalks the soldiers, wasn't filmed with real infrared cameras. The technology existed in 1987, but it couldn't capture the actors clearly enough for cinema. Instead, the effects team used special post-production coloring techniques and strategically placed heat sources around the set. They essentially hand-painted the effect onto the footage frame by frame. What looks like advanced alien technology was actually old-fashioned movie trickery at its finest. Number 12. The Predator clicks were made by a dolphin. The Predator's clicking growl is instantly recognizable. But where did it come from? Voice actor Peter Cullen, yes, the voice of Optimus Prime, created the bass sounds. Cullen experimented with guttural growls, breathing patterns, and animalistic vocalizations in the recording booth, trying to find something that felt alien but still organic. Then the sound design team layered in recordings of dolphin clicks to give it that alien, otherworldly quality. The dolphin sounds added a rapid-fire, echolocation-like quality that made the predator seem like it was hunting with senses beyond human comprehension. They also mixed in recordings of crustaceans snapping their claws, creating that sharp, chittering effect that plays when the predator is agitated or focused. The sound designers spent weeks experimenting with different combinations, pitching sounds up and down, layering them at different speeds. So, every time the predator stalks through the jungle, you're actually hearing one of Earth's most intelligent creatures mixed with one of Hollywood's most iconic voices, plus the sounds of shellfish clicking underwater. The combination created something that sounds completely inhuman, a communication system that feels both organic and mechanical, intelligent yet predatory. It's one of the most effective creature sound designs ever created, and it came from the most unexpected sources imaginable. Number 13. Shane Black was hired to watch the script, not act. See that guy playing Hawkins, the soldier who tells terrible jokes? That's Shane Black, who would later write and direct Iron Man 3 and The Nice Guys. But in 1987, he was already a successful screenwriter. He'd just written Lethal Weapon, which had become a massive hit and revolutionized the buddy cop genre. So, why is he acting in Predator? The studio forced director John McTiernan to hire him as an actor so Black could be on set every day to punch up the script and suggest rewrites. The studio executives were worried the dialogue wasn't sharp enough, that the character interactions needed more wit and chemistry. But they didn't want to slow down production by bringing in a writer for formal script meetings. So, they came up with a creative solution. Put Shane Black in front of the camera in a small role, and he could observe the scenes, rewrite lines on the fly, and feed better dialogue to the actors between setups. Shane Black was literally getting paid to act while secretly doing his real job, rewriting dialogue between takes. He'd deliver his lines as Hawkins, then immediately turn around and give Arnold or Carl Weathers a better version of their upcoming scene. Black essentially became the on-set script doctor disguised as a supporting actor. And it worked. Many of the film's most memorable lines and character moments came from Black's uncredited rewrites during production. Number 14. Billy's original death was graphic, then cut. Billy's death scene is haunting because you don't see it. He screams, and then silence. Originally, it wasn't like that at all. Actor Sonny Landham filmed an entire one-on-one fight sequence with the Predator, full combat, showing Billy's final moments in brutal detail. The scene was choreographed as an extended hand-to-hand battle, Billy wielding his knife, striking at the creature, dodging its attacks, fighting with everything he had. It was meant to show Billy's warrior spirit, his refusal to go down without a fight. The production spent an entire day shooting the sequence, multiple angles, close-ups of the struggle, Billy landing blows on the Predator's armor. But when the producers saw the footage in the editing room, they cut it entirely. Why? It looked unrealistic. A human fighting the Predator hand-to-hand just didn't work on screen. No matter how skilled Billy was supposed to be, watching him trade blows with a 7-foot alien hunter broke the audience's suspension of disbelief. The Predator had been established as an unstoppable force. Having Billy last more than a few seconds against it undermined everything the film had built. So, they made the brilliant choice to leave it to our imagination, and it became far more terrifying. That primal scream followed by nothing creates more dread than any fight choreography ever could. Number 15. Sonny Landham required a bodyguard. Speaking of Sonny Landham, the studio made an unusual demand. They required him to have a bodyguard on set at all times, but not for his protection, for everyone else's. Landham's off-screen behavior was so unpredictable and volatile that the production needed someone to make sure things didn't escalate. Landham had a reputation in Hollywood for being difficult, confrontational, and prone to sudden outbursts. The insurance company covering the production insisted on the bodyguard as a condition of coverage. They literally wouldn't insure the film unless someone was assigned to monitor Landham full-time. The bodyguard's job wasn't to protect Landham from external threats. It was to step in if Landham got into confrontations with other cast members, crew, or locals in Mexico. He had to shadow Landham everywhere, on set, in the hotel, during downtime. The bodyguard was essentially there to protect the cast and crew from their own actor. It's one of the wildest insurance policies in Hollywood history, a studio paying someone not to guard their star, but to guard everyone else from him. And it worked. Filming continued without major incident. Landham delivered a powerful, memorable performance as Billy, and the bodyguard earned every penny by keeping tensions from boiling over. Number 16. The jungle was actually small, that endless, sprawling jungle that feels massive and claustrophobic at the same time. It's a tiny patch of Mexican rainforest. The cinematographer had to shoot from extremely low angles, almost ground level, to hide how small the location really was. They used creative framing, tight shots, and clever editing to make a few acres look like an infinite wilderness. If the camera had pulled back even slightly, you'd see the edge of the set. The oppressive jungle that traps Dutch's team is one of the best cinematic illusions of the 1980s. Number 17. The final Predator suit weighed over 200 pounds. Kevin Peter Hall, the 7'2" actor who brought the Predator to life, was basically performing extreme physical labor in every scene. The final creature suit weighed over 200 pounds with terrible ventilation, limited visibility, and almost no mobility. Hall had to move, fight, and perform stunts while essentially trapped inside a walking oven. Between takes, crew members would have to physically peel the suit off him because he was overheating. His performance is a testament to pure endurance. He's doing athletic work while carrying the weight of 2 people. Number 18. The invisible Predator effect was done with a red suit. The shimmering, camouflaged Predator, that iconic distortion effect, was created using a technique that was revolutionary for the 1980s. Kevin Peter Hall wore a bright red suit while performing. Later, in post-production, the effects team digitally removed the red and added the shimmering camouflage effect frame by frame. This was before modern CGI. Everything was done optically, using analog compositing techniques. The result was so effective that filmmakers are still studying how they pulled it off nearly 40 years later. Number 19. The helicopter pilot at the end is the Predator actor. Here's a fun Easter egg most people miss. At the end of the film, when the rescue helicopter arrives to save Dutch, look closely at the pilot. That's Kevin Peter Hall, the actor who played the Predator, in his only on-screen appearance without the creature suit. It's a rare moment where the man behind the monster gets to show his face. Hall passed away in 1991 at just 35 years old, making this cameo even more poignant. He gave us one of cinema's greatest movie monsters and left us far too soon. Number 20. The movie was almost a box office failure until word of mouth exploded. When Predator first screened for test audiences, the reactions were lukewarm. Studio executives started panicking. They thought they had a flop on their hands. But then something magical happened. Audiences who saw the film started talking about it. The creature reveal, the final fight, the tension. Word of mouth spread like wildfire. What started as a potential disaster became a massive cult hit, earning over $98 million worldwide, the equivalent of nearly $260 million today. Predator proved that you don't need critics to love your movie. You just need audiences who can't stop talking about it. Predator succeeded because everyone involved refused to quit when things went wrong. They rebuilt the monster. They endured the cold. They turned accidents into legends. What could have been a forgettable action flick became a masterpiece. Hit subscribe for more secrets from cinema's greatest films, and remember, the best movies are born from chaos, not comfort.